Back with more
Here
of
we go.
the best of Europe. This time, we got plenty of horsepower.
Look at that horse's red
Amazing
stuff,
trip
man.
in
I love the
Romania.
gypsy horses.
Romania. Thanks for joining us.
I mean, yeah, Rick's been all over the world, like, and he does these travel documentaries all over the world. I think he actually did it for, like, HGT, not HGT. One of the TV channels here in America, I'm not sure which one, but I think that's where all of this comes from. So you get to see all these cool things. Slovenia, Norway. Rick Stevens, Europe, here he is.
Romania is one of Europe's lesser-known corners with a rich and fascinating history. Having come through tough times, today it's a member of the European Union, clearly on the upswing, and a rewarding place to explore.
Travelers experience a land of contrasts. Its lively capital has a modern bustle. Its mammoth palace recalls a horrible dictator.
I do want to say one of the coolest things about Romania is you get these huge cities and then you get country life too. Like, and look at how beautiful these mountains are. Like, you get such a good contrast in Romania. It's incredible.
A romantic king's retreat stands tall in the mountains, and medieval churches hide behind fortified walls.
Beautiful.
While many are lured by the Dracula myth, the reality is even more fascinating in this complex land where a vivid folklife still thrives.
That's
in the
crazy.
southeast of Europe, Romania sits where the Danube River meets the Black Sea. Starting in Bucharest, we visit Peles Castle, head for the Carpathian Mountains in Transylvania to visit Brajov and Sighișoara.
I think Romania was huge and someone in the comments below can help better understand this, because I'm not 100% sure. I obviously didn't take like history classes in Romania, but I think Romania was like a very pivotal point for trade routes back in the olden days, just because they did have access to the Danube and the Black Sea. But I'm not 100% sure. Someone in the comments could chime in, but I'm pretty sure they're strategically put perfectly for like trade access.
We finish in the traditional region of Maramures.
Romania's capital, Bucharest, with about 2 million people, is a sprawling tangle of buildings. It's muscular and gritty, hard to like at first glance, but with a thoughtful look, it reveals its charms.
Bucharest
that's
has a
beautiful
raw,
to me. What's
embracing
hard to
urban energy.
not like about that?
First-time visitors are struck by its eclectic mix of architecture.
I mean, what's hard to like about that is what I meant to
Just
say.
wandering the streets with your neck craned up is entertaining. The foundation of this architectural jumble dates from the late 19th century. That's just after Romania became a unified country for the first time.
Wow.
In the 1860s, without a royal family to call their own, the Romanians went shopping for a king who could connect them with the European
King Carol.
mainstream. They found one in Germany, where a prince looking for a throne agreed to become King Carol I of Romania.
Yeah.
King Carol embraced his new
I think
homeland
he was
while
actually
bringing
pretty good
Western
from what I
reforms and
understand.
securing true independence for Romania. Under King Carol, Bucharest blossomed. He imported French architects to give Bucharest a romantic allure.
I didn't know it was him.
Today, Victory Avenue is a showcase of the city's Belle Epoque, when Bucharest was nicknamed the Little Paris of the East. The
It does
avenue
look like
rumbles
Paris.
toward the recently rejuvenated Old Town. Under more stately architecture, you'll find
This is
inviting
Caracubere, I
pedestrian
think.
lanes. This is the traffic-free heart of town. Locals enjoy a fun and relaxing scene, and there's almost no tourists in sight. And the nightlife scene is on the rise.
I will say, I was there as a missionary for my church. I did not do anything in the nightlife, so this is not my specialty, so I'm glad someone will talk about it.
Formerly abandoned shopping galleries are now sweet with hookah smoke. Food trucks fill a vacant lot with late-night sipping and socializing. If you're looking for fun after dark, this part of Bucharest can feel like one big sprawling cocktail party.
Thriving as it is today, Bucharest's old town was lucky to survive the communist period. Most of the historic center was wiped out by the dictator.
I don't know what the historic center looked like before, but all I know is when I went back to Romania with my wife in 2022, this drive up is like one of the most beautiful drives I've ever seen. And I know that's bad because it was like a lot of work to get it to be like this, and stuff got torn down, but it's an absolutely stunning drive to Casa Poporului.
Nicolae Ceausescu, so he could build a grandiose new town perfect for a megalomaniac.
Ceausescu took power in 1965, and through his 24-year dictatorship, his ego ballooned. He became addicted to massive projects without budgets. After a visit to North Korea, Ceausescu returned inspired to transform his city.
Oh.
He ripped out most of Bucharest's historical core to create this, his enormous civic center.
It's beautiful.
Its
Maybe
wide
not right,
boulevards
but
and
beautiful.
stone-faced apartment blocks all have a distinctive Pyongyang aesthetic. The culmination of his master plan was an immense palace with more than 1,000 rooms, fit for a dictator gone wild. Ceausescu literally starved his people to build his dream. Over 6 years, from 1983 to 89, thousands of laborers worked on it 24/7. When it finally opened to the public in 1994, that was 5 years after Ceausescu.
The thing is, those fountains right there, they also make they make this even more beautiful. Like I said, and like he said here, Rick, he said so many people died and like starved because of this palace. But it is beautiful. I will say that. It wasn't right to do it, but it is beautiful.
Died. The Romanian people were both wonderstruck and repulsed. Today, guided tours lead gawking visitors around these vast and empty spaces. You feel small exploring its grand halls, huge staircases, and mega ballrooms. Ceausescu demanded the ideal balcony from which to deliver speeches while looking out over his new town and a boulevard grand enough to match his ego. This palace and similarly extravagant projects all around the downtrodden country created a powerful anti-Ceausescu sentiment that ultimately led to his downfall.
In late 1989, with winds of change sweeping the Eastern Bloc, armed revolution spread across Romania. An angry populace filled the square here in front of the Communist Party headquarters.
The first place I heard there was revolutions were in Timișoara, actually. So not even in Bucharest, but I heard the revolutions kind of started in Timișoara.
They arrested their dictator and shot him on Christmas Day.
This monument honors more than 1,000 Romanians who died in the struggle to overthrow the tyrant and free their country. Today, Ceausescu feels like ancient history, and Romania is proud to be part of the European Union. Joining local families on a Saturday morning in the park, you feel optimistic. While Romania's challenges are significant, it's clear the country is moving in the right direction.
Oh, that's incredible. Everyone looked so happy.
Heading north for the Carpathian Mountains, we leave Bucharest. Stunning fields of poppies are irresistible. And this quick roadside stop is just...
All right. When my wife and I go back to Romania, don't tell her this, but I want to plan a photo shoot at this place. So if anyone has any like details on when's the best time to go to poppy fields, where's the best poppy fields, drop them below, because I want to surprise my wife with this when we go back to Romania.
Just too joyful to pass up.
Wow.
Our next stop is Peles Castle, the summer residence of Romania's first king, Carol. Carol chose a mountainous and forested setting that reminded him of his German homeland. And he imported German architects to create this fanciful hunting lodge.
Beautiful.
Prickly with over-the-top spires, Peles ranks among Europe's finest romantic age palaces. And it boasts one of the most dazzling late 19th century interiors anywhere. The Hall of Honor, with its red carpets, grand staircase, and venerable portraits, sets the tone. The woodwork is exquisite.
Wow.
The rest of the rooms have a grand, yet somehow cozy elegance. Glittering crystal chandeliers,
That's beautiful.
thoughtful touches. King Carol ruled for 48 years. When summering at the palace, he took care of matters of state in his study. For over 30 years, the king dined with guests here. His impressive collection of weapons and armor stoked conversation. The library showed off the king's passion for education. And today, more than a century later, tourists from around the world still marvel at King Carol's castle.
Beautiful. Absolutely.
Just over the Carpathian Mountains, we cross into the fabled region of Transylvania. Transylvania. It means across the forest, and that's literally where we've gone.
This is one thing I don't understand. Everyone says that it means across the forest, but I know trans means across in Romanian, but I thought pădure was forest. So I would expect it to be transpădure if it was across the forest. I don't know why it's Silvania. I don't know if that comes from like Old Romanian or the Dacian language or something. I'm not 100% sure why, but pădure is what I've heard means forest in Romanian.
We're spending the night in the handy home-based town of Brajov, which fills a scenic mountain valley. Most of the city's people live in boxy communist-era apartment blocks, many of which have been spiffed up. But the historic old town is much more charming. It's
Beautiful.
packed with locals enjoying a balmy evening.
Luca!
Thriving
Oh,
and
hold on, let me go
it's
back.
packed.
Luca. If you go to Romania, they have these pretzel shops. Luca, Petru's, my wife likes Gigi the most. They're like some of the best dessert treats you can get. They're incredible.
With locals enjoying a balmy evening. Thriving and appealing, Brajov offers a glimpse into a mid-sized Romanian city that has its act together. Among other things, Transylvania is well known for its rustic and wild countryside and a
That's where I
medieval
wanna
history
live.
with a surprising
Not here.
German twist.
Not in Rysnov.
In the 12th century, Transylvania's Hungarian overlords needed help taming this wild frontier. So they imported skilled merchants and hardworking settlers from the German lands. For that reason, you'll find German-speaking enclaves and delightful German towns in this part of Romania.
One
where I
of
wanna
Transylvania's 7 original German towns is Sighișoara,
Siggy's the best.
perhaps the most popular tourist town in all of Romania. The old center is entirely contained within its fortified hilltop. Several of Sighișoara's watchtowers still survive, and its historic centerpiece is its clock tower, proudly trumpeting the town's special status in the Middle Ages.
The walk up to the clock tower is way beautiful too, just so everyone knows.
Within the town's protective walls, visitors explore cobbled lanes, enjoy pastel German-style facades, and sip beers on the main square. Nearby, a statue honors the town's tenuous connection with an infamous Romanian prince, Vlad Țepeș. In the 15th century, he ruthlessly fought the Turkish Ottomans. Much later, he became better known as the inspiration for a vampire.
Vlad had 2 nicknames, Vlad the Impaler and Dracula. That means son of the devil. Vlad the Impaler was brutal in his defense of his homeland. While he didn't drink anyone's blood, he was sadistic, famously impaling his victims. The popular Dracula myth came much later.
Dracula in the myth is a fictitious vampire created centuries later by the Victorian novelist Bram Stoker. He wrote his famous novel Dracula after being inspired by the tales of this bloodthirsty prince and other local legends.
I didn't know that.
Vlad the Impaler, important prince. Dracula the vampire, just a scary fairy tale. Nevertheless, Dracula is big business for local tourism.
For many, when in Transylvania, a stop at Bran Castle is considered a must. While
Sounds
people
cool.
call it Dracula's castle, it has virtually nothing to do with Vlad the Impaler. But that doesn't stop the tourists from coming. or locals from selling their vampire kitsch. Past the tacky souvenir gauntlet, a cobbled path curls up to the castle entrance. Despite the fanciful legends, Bron is actually a fine example of an authentic medieval fortress dating from the 14th century. Some of Romania's most memorable fortresses aren't castles at all. They're actually churches. While big towns were well fortified, smaller German villages were vulnerable to invaders. So what did the industrious settlers do? They fortified their churches. Dozens of fortified German churches, mostly built in the 13th and 14th centuries, are scattered across Transylvania. Like other medieval fortresses, they have beefy bastions, stout lookout towers.
Look at how green and beautiful that is. With like rolling hills, mountains far in the background, beautiful colored houses right here, like you can see some blue. Oh, it's incredible. Oh.
And narrow slits for archers. Entire communities could take refuge inside, within these wraparound defensive galleries. This fortified church had a room for each family, and when under attack, each family had a defensive responsibility. Stepping inside these churches feels like stepping into medieval Germany. Decoration was humble. Pews were simple benches. Bible quotes are in German. And to this day, the services are Lutheran.
I want to know where this church is, because that'd be awesome to visit.
Today, most of Romania's ethnic Germans are gone, having emigrated in the late 19th century or fled to Germany after World War II. Those who remain speak a time-warped German and work hard to keep their unique cultural heritage alive.
And the cultural heritage of Romania is many-faceted. Appreciating the diversity of the 20 million people who make up this country enriches your experience. The faces, as varied and beautiful as the land itself, tell the story.
You look happy. Well, semi-happy. Yeah. Oh. Casa de Teatro. This is awesome. Getting to see so many different people is so cool. Look at how different they all are. That's so awesome. But yeah, good for him.
Of Romania's many people, one group in particular has struggled to fit in: the Roma. Also known as gypsies, the Roma originated in India. They were nomads who migrated over the centuries throughout Eastern Europe and gained a reputation as musicians, thieves, and metalworkers. Romania has Europe's largest Roma population. They've had to abandon their nomadic ways and face the challenge of settling down. The classic Roma image is poor people in shanty towns. But most Roma live side by side with their Romanian neighbors, more or less fitting into mainstream society. And many Roma carry on the traditional craft of metalworking.
Those are all beautiful.
We've been invited in to learn more.
So how many years has your family been making copper?
450 years ago.
Many generations.
Yeah, many generations.
Yeah.
6, maybe 7 generations.
6
yeah,
or 7.
Yeah. And this job, it's
Your father,
old. Yeah.
his father.
Yeah, my grandfather, my grand-grandfather.
Right here.
Yeah.
I love your hat. Can I see your hat?
Yeah, sure.
So this is a Roma hat.
Yeah, it's Roma hat. Yeah.
Do you like to be called Roma or Gypsy?
Roma.
Roma. What is important to...
Yeah, I think gypsy kind of has like a bad connotation, right? So they prefer Roma.
the Roma people?
For Roma people, it's important. Family, respect life. My people, art, music, language, pure language.
So you speak a Roma language.
Yeah.
So today, for the Roma community, what's the challenge?
Oh, living mother times, but at the same time, they keep the traditions.
Pondering the challenges of maintaining traditions in an aggressively modern world, we leave Transylvania and drive north. At the fringe of the country, tucked next to the Ukrainian border, is Romania's most isolated region, Maramures. Maramures is fiercely traditional. Its centuries-old ways endure. Horse carts are commonplace. The men wear distinctive straw hats. The women are tough as the land. People work the fields as they have for generations. Village roads are lined with ornate wooden gateways. These gateways are intentionally elaborate, designed to show off the family's wealth.
I've never
The
been
gates
to
protect
Maramures,
family
but I wanna go.
compounds. Along with the home, you'll find a barn, a garden, and an old-time dipping well. And if you've never tried one of these, locals are happy to demonstrate.
Can you show me the well?
No.
Yeah? What do we have? Yeah? Like this. Okay. Nice. Okay, so into the horses. There we go.
We're staying at a farmhouse B&B. Our host ritualistically closes the gate behind us.
Wow.
People here are superstitious, especially after dark. It's dinner time, but first, we're getting a little tour. Traditional Romanians collect their nicest belongings into one room designed to impress their guests. Heirloom dowries are lovingly displayed. These are bridal gifts going back generations. Tonight, we're being treated to a farmer's feast. The food is typical of the region, rustic, delicious, and farm fresh. Our host, Anna, is determined to feed us well. Hearty salads, cabbage rolls. Polenta is a daily treat.
Sarmale is so delicious. This is like making my mouth water just like sitting here looking at all of this.
Around here, and pork is big. In Romania, like everywhere else, food is especially tasty when it's local and fresh. And everything goes better with the local firewater.
I think that's called Tsuika. I don't drink alcohol, so I'm not sure, but I'm guessing that's an alcohol called Tsuika.
After dinner, the evening continues in the music room, where Anna's husband gets out his violin and shares some rousing folk music.
That's awesome.
In this traditional community, many homes are busy with small-scale crafts and industry.
I love
Just up
that.
the lane, we meet a family who welcomes us into their cozy yet busy world. The daughter, using a technique that goes back to ancient times, gracefully spins raw wool into yarn. Inside, her mother weaves the yarn into bolts of cloth, which will eventually be made into heavy woolens for the winter. Next door, a watermill does the same work it's done since medieval times. With the flip of a giant lever, George, the miller, sets things in motion. All of this powers his fulling mill, which takes the neighbor's woven wool to the next stage. Wooden hammers relentlessly pummel the fabric. With the help of hot water, the wool is pounded into a dense felt. The finished product is heavy and warm,
Wow.
ideal for the frigid Romanian winter. The water wheel also powers grinding stones. To this day, villagers drop off their grain to be ground into everything from animal feed to polenta. And George also has his own still for making the local brandy, horinka. He stokes the fire, and patiently stirs his heated plum mash to keep it from burning. After its steamy journey through his low-tech water cooler, George's beloved firewater trickles into his bucket. And you can't visit
So it's not Tsuika, it's Palinka.
George's distillery without tasting the final product.
Oh, yeah. Good?
Maramures has some of the finest wooden churches in Europe. Their graceful spires punctuate the countryside. Soaring skyward, they seem to connect earth with heaven. The exteriors show off the quality craftsmanship of local woodworkers through the centuries. And our guide, Teo, shows us how beautifully decorated the interiors are.
Teo, this is remarkable. And how old is this church?
17th century,
And how old are all these beautiful paintings?
18th century.
You know, they look more simple, like what you would see 14th century in France or Germany.
Yeah, it was a kind of delay or a very long-lasting tradition.
And the carpets. I've never seen a church with carpets everywhere.
They are gifts from donators, from parishioners, from the ladies.
So ladies want to show their devotion. They bring a carpet.
Yes, it's a kind of devotion, a kind of sacrifice, let's say it.
And these beautiful embroideries. Are these gifts also from parishioners?
Yes, for example, here you can see it bears even the donator name.
Oh, that's
Jurka
the name
Palaguzza.
of the woman who embroidered this.
Even modern churches are still built in the traditional wooden style.
Wow.
Dating from 1995, this one towers 250 feet, with artistic shingle work cascading from peak to eaves. Again, the technical mastery of the woodworkers is on display. Chunky timbers, precisely dovetailed, keep massive walls firmly in place.
Wow.
Just up the road is another unforgettable church. This one with an unusually...
I want to talk about this because someone corrected me. In one of my videos, I did say this was near Suceava. I was wrong. It's in Maramures. So I'm sorry I got that wrong at one point, but here I am. I'm correcting myself. I'm so sorry.
joyful cemetery. In 1935, a local woodcarver, reviving an old tradition, began adorning what's known as the Mary Cemetery with a forest of vivid memorials. Each one comes with a whimsical poem and a painting of the departed in the moment of death or doing something they loved. Even if you can't read the poems, the images speak volumes. From a lifetime commitment to a traditional trade like weaving, baking, or woodworking. A more modern one like television repair, or to a passion for bicycles. A sad early end by a lightning strike, or a humorous memorial to a lifetime spent enduring a nagging mother-in-law. It's a poignant and good-natured celebration of each individual's life as well as a chronicle of village history. And it's all painted in cheery blue to match the heavens where these souls are headed.
Traveling through Romania, I feel about as far from home as I've ever been while still in Europe. Sure, it's got some rough edges, but you'll enjoy amazing sights, endearing people, and rich memories. Thanks for joining us. I'm Rick Steves. Until next time, keep on traveling. Ta-
So that's it. That's awesome. He kind of hit like only 3 main areas, but it's so awesome. It's so cool to see some of these places and to see how this great documentarian has gone about doing it. So thank you so much for sticking around, sticking through this long video. If you could subscribe, click that bell button. It helps me get to my goal of returning to Romania. So thank you guys. I love you. Peace out. We'll catch you next time.